My name's Hannah Marie Peterson. I'm 48 years old, and this past February, my heart stopped for 22 minutes, right there on the floor of the hospital where I've worked most of my life. I've been an oncology nurse for over 2 decades at a busy medical center in Charlotte, North Carolina. My life wasn't glamorous. It was steady, predictable. My world was my husband, Ethan, our teenage son, Caleb, and the never-ending rhythm of soccer practices, mortgage payments, and squeezing in a date night once in a blue moon. I prayed, sure, but if I'm honest, it was more out of routine than anything. A quick prayer in the car on the way to my shift. A whispered one over a patient's bed. I believed in God, but he always felt far away, like an old relative you love but rarely see, living somewhere across the ocean. I figured I was doing okay. I worked hard. I loved my family, I tried to be kind. I never thought anything extraordinary, let alone life-changing, would happen to me. That Tuesday started like any other. The floor was hectic. I'd just helped an older gentleman, Walter, get his pain meds down. My lunch break was late, as usual. I poured myself a cup of stale coffee in the break room, and that's when it happened. First, a weird tingling in my right hand, like pins and needles racing up my arm. I remember thinking, that's odd, then, bam. It felt like an elephant dropped onto my chest, my lungs locked up, I couldn't call out, I couldn't even gasp. My knees gave way. And right there, in those seconds before I hit the floor, all I could think about was the ridiculous argument I'd had with Caleb that morning over his video games. I'd left the house angry. What a stupid, pointless thing to waste our last words on. As my head struck the cold tile, one tear slid down my cheek, and in my mind, I whispered, I'm sorry, Caleb. Then, nothing. It wasn't like drifting to sleep, it was like someone had hit the pause button on everything. No pain, no crushing weight, the beeps and voices of the hospital faded into a soft hum, then silence. I felt a gentle upward tug, like I was being lifted by invisible hands. My eyes opened, but I wasn't breathing. And yet, I was still me. I was floating near the ceiling, looking down. My own body lay crumpled on the floor. Sophie, my friend and fellow nurse, came running in. Her face went white. Hannah! Oh my God, Hannah, she screamed, falling to her knees and starting chest compressions. I knew that scene too well. I'd been the one shouting for the crash cart, pressing down on someone's chest with every ounce of strength. But this time I was watching it happen to me. There was no fear, no sense of panic, just this strange, almost weightless calm. I watched as the crash cart rolled in. I saw them place the pads on my chest, the defibrillator whining as it charged. Someone shouted, "Clear," and my body jolted hard against the floor. It was surreal, like I was watching a scene from a sad movie, except I was both the audience and the subject. A wave of emotion swept over me, not fear, but love. Love for my coworkers, fighting with everything they had to pull me back. Love for Ethan, knowing he'd soon be getting a call that would shatter him. Love for Caleb, my boy, and yet, the strange thing was, I didn't feel tied to that body lying on the tile anymore. That wasn't me. I felt lighter, more myself than I'd ever been in life. Then came another pull, stronger this time. The break room, the chaos, even my own body blurred and faded, like a dream slipping away before you can grab hold of it. I turned, and suddenly the hospital was gone. I was surrounded by deep, velvety darkness. Not the kind that feels cold or threatening, this darkness was warm, protective, almost like a soft blanket around my soul. It was quiet here, still. I had the sense that I was waiting for something, though I couldn't have told you what. And yet, my spirit felt completely at peace. Off in the distance, I noticed a pinpoint of light, small and delicate, like the first star in a night sky. I couldn't take my eyes off it. As I watched, it began to grow, not just in size, but in presence. I couldn't tell if it was moving toward me or if I was being drawn toward it. Either way, it was getting closer. The light swelled into a warm, golden-white glow, alive in a way I can't quite explain. It didn't glare or sting my eyes, It bathed me in a gentle radiance that pulsed with life. And with that light came the most overwhelming sensation: I was completely known. Not just the parts of me people liked. Every single thing. Every mistake, every selfish thought, every hidden shame, it was all laid bare. And yet, in that light, none of it condemned me. I wasn't just forgiven, I was treasured, cherished. The light began to take shape. A man's form emerged from its center. His face was hard to make out at first, the brightness too pure, like trying to look straight into the sun. But it didn't burn, it enveloped. He wore a simple, gleaming robe, the fabric seeming to shimmer with its own light. His hair was dark, falling just to his shoulders. But it was his eyes. When his gaze finally met mine, I didn't have to ask who he was. There wasn't a shred of doubt in me, it was Jesus. His eyes weren't a color you could name. They were pure, liquid love. In them, I saw the story of my entire life, every chapter I'd already lived, and every page that was still to come. He didn't have to explain a thing, I just knew. Tears welled up and spilled over, but not because I was sad. These were tears of relief, of being found. I felt like a lost child who'd been wandering for hours in a crowded store, terrified and alone, only to finally spot her father's face. When he smiled, it was as if the whole universe smiled with him. And when he spoke, it wasn't through sound, it was through being. His voice filled me from the inside out, carrying peace, truth, and strength all at once. "Welcome, Hannah," he said. "Be at peace." I wept harder then, sinking to my knees, not from obligation, but because my soul wanted nothing more than to bow before him. I felt so small, so undeserving. My mind flashed to the worn, stained nursing scrubs my body was wearing back in that break room. I thought of the rushed, distracted prayers. The moments I'd been impatient with a patient. The sharp words I'd spoken to my husband when I was tired. He extended his hand toward me, and it glowed with a soft, steady light. He didn't have to make contact, I felt his touch deep in my spirit. "I don't see the scrubs, my child," he said, his voice so tender it seemed to mend pieces of me I didn't even know were cracked. "I see your heart. I see the love you've poured out when no one was watching. I see the tears you've shed for strangers. I see you." I lifted my gaze to him, and the shame I had carried for years simply dissolved. In its place came a love so total, so complete, words will never do it justice. We stayed there in that perfect connection, and I couldn't have told you if it lasted a heartbeat or 1,000 years. Time didn't exist in that place. Then his expression shifted, still loving, but solemn. A quiet, weighty sadness filled his eyes. "There are things you need to see," he said. "And there are things you must tell them." His voice deepened with purpose. "The world has set up new gods. They bow to stars, but not the stars I set in the heavens. They exalt men and women of fame and fortune, and their hearts have turned away from me." The luminous space around us began to change. It felt as though we were suddenly standing on a high balcony, looking out over the earth. Before me, images began to flicker, vast, moving, like a giant living screen. "I'm going to show you something difficult to watch," he told me. "It is a warning. It is a call to pray. Many of the idols this world chases are standing on the edge of great danger. Their time is running short. This year will bring a shaking unlike anything they expect." The first image came into focus, a man I recognized instantly. A world-famous musician, a rock star whose songs played in every corner of the globe. I saw him standing on a massive stage, lights blazing, tens of thousands of fans screaming his name. The crowd waved their phones in the air like a field of tiny candles, their adoration pouring toward him like a tidal wave. He drank it in, every bit of it. But then Jesus shifted my view. The noise of the crowd faded, and I was allowed to see beyond the glitter and lights, straight into the man's heart. What I saw was a hollow cavern, vast and echoing, completely empty. I saw him alone in an enormous, cold mansion. Rows of prescription bottles lined his marble countertop. I saw faces, people he had used, discarded, and walked away from without a second thought. The millions of fans, the sold-out shows, it all meant nothing. Inside, he was trapped, a prisoner in the cage his own fame had built. He has been given a great gift, Jesus said, and there was such deep sorrow in his voice. His music could have been a lantern in the dark, but instead he chose to glorify himself and feed the shadows. His pride has built a wall so high that my voice cannot reach him. Pray for him, Hannah, his hourglass is almost empty. My chest tightened with grief for this man. I'd seen him on TV, assumed he had everything most people dream of. But here, in the light of truth, I could see, he had nothing that truly mattered. The vision shifted. Now, a woman appeared. I knew her too, an actress, beloved for her comedies. America's sweetheart. She had a laugh that could brighten a room and a smile so warm it felt real, even through a TV screen. The world adored her. Families welcomed her into their living rooms. But again, Jesus drew back the curtain. I saw her sitting in her car, parked in a shadowy parking garage, her hands covering her face as she wept. It wasn't the kind of crying you can brush off, it was deep, wrenching sobs from a place so empty it seemed to swallow her whole. She was surrounded by people paid to keep her company, but not one of them truly knew her. Her soul was starving, for love, for peace, for something real. She wore her smile like a costume, slipping it on for the cameras, then going home and crumbling into pieces. She makes the world laugh, Jesus said, his voice gentle but heavy with compassion. But her own heart is breaking. The world applauds her for pretending to be someone else, but no one has taken the time to know the woman behind the mask. She is exhausted, so very tired, she believes the lie that she's worth nothing once the lights go out. Tell them to pray for her, Hannah. Tell them that the love they are chasing in people like her can only be found in me. Tears were streaming down my face now. I could see it so plainly, how we put these people on pedestals, hanging on their every word, trying to dress like them, act like them, live like them. But they're not gods. They're just people, broken, lost, drowning in oceans of applause that can't save them. Then the next vision came. This one felt different from the others. A man appeared, wealthy beyond imagination, a tech billionaire whose name the world knew well. His inventions were changing the way people lived. Crowds hailed him as a genius, a visionary. He stood on stages, speaking confidently about building the future, about saving humanity through technology. He was powerful, brilliant, and completely sure of himself. But Jesus let me see what the cameras never showed. Behind closed doors, his words to his family were cold, calculated. I saw the ruthless way he crushed his competitors, the merciless strategy with which he dismantled anyone who stood in his way. He didn't believe in God, he believed in himself. He thought his fortune could solve every problem, even death itself. I saw him pouring billions into projects to extend his own life, trying to outwit the very appointment God has set for every soul. This one's pride grieves me the most, Jesus said, and the ache in his voice cut deep into me. He seeks to become a god in his own right. His wealth has become his Tower of Babel, an attempt to reach heaven without me. I gave him a mind to serve the world, but he's used it to serve only himself. His foundation is sand, and a storm is coming this year that will sweep it all away. When he stands before me, every dollar will be nothing more than dust at his feet. The visions dissolved, and I was standing in front of Jesus again, my heart heavy and my mind reeling. Why? I managed to whisper. Why show me this? I'm nobody. I'm just a nurse. He looked at me, and the love in his eyes made my knees weak. Because you have a gentle heart, Hannah. You notice the pain behind the smiles. I'm not showing you this so you can gossip or make predictions. I'm showing you because it's a sign to wake my people. His tone was tender, but urgent. When these figures fall, the world will shake, but my children must not be shaken. Don't put your trust in celebrities, in leaders, in billionaires. They are mortal, they are dust. Put your faith only in me, for some, their deaths will be mercy. For others, judgment, but for all, it will be an invitation, to turn away from the fading stars of earth and look toward the one who hung the stars in the heavens. Then he looked into me, right past my thoughts, deep into my soul. "The message is not about who will die," he said. "The message is that everyone will. Time is running out for every person alive. Tell them to stop chasing the wind. Tell them to stop bowing to idols of flesh and bone, because soon enough, all flesh becomes bone, and all bone becomes dust." I understood then, it was never really about the celebrities. It was about us. About where we'd been placing our hope all along. A calm unlike anything I'd ever known settled over me. I felt it in every part of me, deep, anchored peace. I was home. This was where I belonged. The thought of returning to the noisy, fractured, painful world I'd left behind made my chest ache. "Please," I whispered, my voice catching. "Please let me stay. I don't want to go back. I'm tired, Lord, so tired. Please, let me stay here with you." He smiled then, but it was tinged with sadness, like he knew exactly how much my heart longed to remain. "My precious child, your love for your family is a gift," he said softly. "Ethan and Caleb still need you. Your work isn't finished." He stepped closer, his presence wrapping around me like the warmest blanket. "There are still patients you must care for, not only their bodies, but their souls. You've been given the truth, now you must carry it into dark places. You will be my hands, my feet. My voice of peace in the midst of fear. It will be hard, some will laugh at you, others will dismiss you, but you will know the truth, and I will never leave you." Leaving him, leaving this perfect love, was the most painful thing I've ever felt. It was as if something was being torn from deep inside me. I sobbed openly, clinging to the moment. "It's only for a little while," he said, his words carrying the weight of an eternal promise. "Go and tell them I love them. Tell them I am waiting." He touched my forehead, and warmth, brilliant and alive, poured through me. And then I was falling. The peace dissolved in an instant, replaced by a violent, jarring crash back into my body. I gasped for air, my lungs burning like fire. Pain hit first, sharp, crushing pain in my chest, as if I'd been kicked by a horse. The break room lights stabbed my eyes. The antiseptic scent of the hospital was suddenly harsh, invasive. "She's back. We've got a pulse," someone yelled. Sophie's tear-streaked face hovered over me. "Hannah! Hannah, can you hear me?" My own tears returned, but these were born from grief. I had just left heaven, I had just left him. My voice was nothing more than a raw croak. The room spun around me, my body heavy, bound again by its weakness. They rushed me to the ER, then to ICU. I was the patient now. They told me I'd suffered sudden cardiac arrest. 22 minutes without a heartbeat. The tests all came back the same, no heart damage, no brain damage. The doctors called it impossible. A medical miracle. Dr. Whitaker, my cardiologist, just shook his head and stared at my chart. "Hannah, I can't explain this. Someone up there must really like you. If only he knew." The next few days blurred together, machines beeping, Ethan never leaving my side, holding my hand like he might lose it if he let go. I saw the fear in his eyes, fear I'd never seen there before. Caleb came in, red-eyed, and hugged me so tightly I could barely breathe. "I'm sorry about the fight, Mom," he whispered. I held him close, my own tears soaking his hair. "It doesn't matter, sweetheart. None of it matters. Only love. Life isn't the same now. I return to work, but I'm not the same nurse. When I walk into a patient's room, I don't just see charts or diagnoses, I see a soul. A soul loved deeply by God. I hold their hands and pray, not out of habit, but with fire in my spirit. I tell them about a peace this world can't touch. Some give me a polite smile. Others cry, because they know I'm not reciting from a book, I'm speaking from the other side of death. My own prayers are different now. I don't just ask, I talk to him, because I know he's not far away, he's closer than my own breath. So I'm telling you now what he told me to say. Heaven is real, Jesus is real, and his love for you is deeper than you can imagine. But your time here is short, all of our time is. So let me ask you, what are you worshiping? Who are you looking up to? A singer? An actor? A politician? A billionaire? Is it your job? Your bank account? Your own achievements? I've seen the truth, all those things, dust in the wind. They can't save you, they can't give you peace. They can't love you back. He asked me to warn you in love, turn your eyes away from the idols of this world, because many of them are falling, and he doesn't want you to fall with them. If you've been wondering whether God is real, whether he sees you, whether he hears your prayers, I'm here as living proof that he does. He's waiting, and he loves you. That's the message, simple, true, and urgent.